Okay, so today we are going to talk about something which is often a topic of argument, and people there are both sides of people who are in favor of this, who are against of this, right? So today we are going to talk about, can money really buy happiness? So this topic is very interesting because you see there are few people who have not seen much money in their life who think that money is the whole solution, is the overall solution for every problem in life, right? And there are those wealthy people who find themselves struggling with in life even though they have money, and they say that money cannot buy happiness, right? So what exactly, like, is the problem, or what exactly is the scenario, right? The basic money is often, considered to be the thing which can, solve all the problems in your life, and can just make your life the epitome of the luxury or lavish lifestyle, right? But even though money is very as an survival essential, it is something which is very essential to survive in this world, and because it can get you everything. It can get you those things which are needed by the humans, and which are wanted by the humans. It can get you water, it can get you clothes, shelter, food. It can get you all the luxuries, house, uh, clothes, luxury watches, technologies, right? So money can is definitely a very important item. It is a resource, an important resource to have, right? But is money the overall only solution for each problem in life? Now look, usually this argument that money can buy happiness is put up by those kind of people who are middle class or below middle class, right? So now what happens is that people below middle class find themselves struggling with all those problems which are related to money, right? They, like, it would be really difficult for them to meet the needs by the by the humans, right? To fulfill those needs, they, they would struggle to have a, square meals a day, to have access to clean water, you know. So they find problems related to money, right? So whole their life they have been struggling with those problems which can be solved by money. So for them, for their perspective, money is the only solution. For them, money is the only way by which they can upgrade their lifestyle, right? Now the thing is that the path the path it takes to reach the other side, to become wealthy, is not an easy path. It's like really difficult. And in the journey, the path takes multiple resources from you, right? In order to attain money as a resource, money is a resource, right? So in order to attain that resource, you have to sacrifice a lot of other resources, right? So once you reach that side, you will have money, right? But now you don't have the time. You don't have the time to give your family, right? And now, since you don't have the time to give your family, the relationships break, right? And relationships break, life becomes a chaos. You don't have time, you don't have relationships. uh, you might be struggling, you might find yourself struggling with health issues which uh, you didn't take care of in the journey of attaining the resource money, which you thought could be the could can solve all the problems of your life, right? So basically what happens is that when you are lower middle class or below that, right, you deal with all the resources, with all the problems which can be solved by money, right? But you lack that resource, you lack money. But you don't like healthy relationships, you don't like health in usual, like you might find farmers and laborers quite fit. You have time, right? We are talking about a general image, general perception, right? Of course there might be exceptions, there are exceptions everywhere, but we are talking about in general, right? So in general, these kind of people find themselves struggling with those problems which can be solved on money. Why? Because they lack money. They lack the resource which is the solution of the problem. That is why they find themselves struggling. So, non-wealthy people who have money lack other resources, right? So now, even though they have the resource which they have been once designing so much for, but now they don't have the other resources. So now they struggle with those problems to which those resources are the solution which they lack. For example, time, right? Now, see, time can be indirectly bought. It's a misconception that time cannot be bought. Indirectly, it can be, because you see, if you don't have money, you'll have to travel by bus. But if you have money, you can travel by aeroplane. And if a person continuously always travels by bus, and if a person always travels by aeroplane, then of course a lot of time could be saved by that, right? So that is why time can be bought. But time to family, time to your loved ones, to your yourself, right? It is something which you have to sacrifice in order to attain a resource which is money. So now you lack time, and therefore you face those problems which are related to time, right? So, and then you find yourself struggling with your health because you lacked the time to give yourself a time to develop your health. You lack relationships, right? So once you have the money, a resource which you have been designing so much for at one point, now you lack time which you at that point had, and you were not having the problem of time, which it was not a big deal for you, right? You had the time as a resource but not money. Now once you have reached that path, you have money as a resource, so you don't have you cannot, you don't find yourself struggling with those problems which can be solved by money, right? That is not a big deal anymore for you, right? But you lack a resource. I'm just taking an example of time, right? There are multiple resources, so now you lack a resource, time. So you find yourself struggling with time, you find yourself struggling with the relationships. Elon Musk himself, I guess, has been divorced 3 times, right? Though he's the richest, like, you must have heard that the second richest person is closer to being homeless than being closer to have the equivalent net worth as Elon Musk, right? So of course, it's the number is tremendous. He has $720 billion of net worth. It's tremendous. But what all sacrifices he had to make for it? I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is an exception, which you see, which have all the resources. He has money, he has fame. Fame, I don't consider it as a resource. He has health, he has solutions, he has time to spend with his loved ones. Right? Mark Zuckerberg is someone we assume has all resources, because we don't know what he might be dealing in his personal life, right? But as a third person, as an outsider, Mark Zuckerberg has every resource a normal human being would desire to have, right? So basically, the question isn't can money buy happiness or not. The question is about what resources do you have. A resource, you like, if you are dealing a problem and you have the resource which is a solution for the problem, then that problem will not be a big deal for you. But if you have a problem to which a resource is a solution you lack, then of course that problem will be some, like, a very very big deal for you, right? So that is why rich people who have money don't say that money cannot buy happiness, because they find themselves struggling with those problems to which solution is not money. Something else is the solution, which they have to sacrifice to attain the resource money, by which they can solve other problems in their life relating to money, right? And here, all the lower middle class, or those people who struggle with money, they have other resources, so they don't find them struggling with other problems, because they have the resources, they have the time, they have the relationships, they have the health, right? But they don't have money. So for them, money is the only solution for attaining full happiness in their life. So that is why for them, money can buy happiness. But for these rich people who have money but don't have other resources, money cannot buy happiness. So it's not about money can buy happiness or cannot. It's about what resource do you have and what resource do you lack. So it's more about a resource, it's more about what is available with you, not about money. Yeah, so I guess that was it.